Slight little delay there. It's Thursday, currently 10 a.m., probably 45 seconds after the 10-minute mark. We hope everybody's doing well. Aidan and I are pretty gassed. Aidan more so than myself. He has had a crazy friggin' last, I'd say probably 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, it's been absolutely brutal.
And I've been observing this man through this hard time. We've both been going through the crap storm, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
I mean, hustling, dude.
I had my Tuesday was literally just all schoolwork, that's all I did absolutely all day. I woke up at 9 in the morning, worked straight until I passed out at 10 or 11,
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I had a midterm, and then I had one shoot with my big group of 5 for advanced single cam with all the Sony FS7. We completely destroyed my apartment, took it completely apart to build a set in my living room. And then we packed all that up around 6:30, 7 o'clock, went back to the RCC, signed out a different camera, and then you came and helped out. You were on lighting, so you didn't get a grade for this. So big props to Everest, who helped me out a ton here.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was a lot of backwards walking, and I was defense in hockey. So, I was working out the hammies and the glutes in a way that I haven't in a while. So I was proud of that. Yeah,
but it was like a music video style shoot, I'd say.
It was the theme of it was pretty. I don't even know how to really describe it. It was very dark and ominous, but we have a friend named Roy, really tall Israeli guy, long hair, just has that wicked kind of vibe to him.
Yeah.
And I find he's one of the people that really reflects his own personal themes and characteristics in his work and media specifically. He's really good at it. He knows his style a lot more so than I think a lot of other people do. He is a couple years older. So I think that contributes to it as well. But yeah, it was
a
pretty
neat shoot. We were so he wanted the snow, so it was the blizzard. We were in his friend's car and we were shooting out the window of him walking. So I was in the nice warm heated car, thankfully, sitting down with the camera, and you were walking backwards with the bounce and the little wireless light. So props to you, dude. Thanks for helping me out.
Oh, no worries. That we talk about this pretty often, in our program and just in I think a media society landscape in general. You help out your friends. You give some, you take some. It all comes out in the wash. And we've been doing. You and I specifically, I think, have been doing that since high school in a lot of ways too. So it's really nice that it carries over into our university work / careers. And yeah, I feel like a lot of other people within the program get really frustrated with helping out, and they kind of bite off a little more than they can chew in terms of just knowing what they're going to get themselves into for assisting someone. But you can't really have any expectations on, I guess you could say, a short amount of time or a project being just, exactly what they say it is. If they say it's going to be short, oh, you're not going to be here for too long. It always ends up,
Everyone has their own definition of what short, not going to be here for too long is, right?
Yeah.
I had one group for intermediate single cam, and I was trying to be very efficient with my time because the way the course was set up was you took turns in each role, right? So when I was director, someone else was camera, someone else was lighting, someone else was sound, and then we'd all rotate, right?
Yeah.
And we had they were supposed to be 3-minute pieces. You weren't supposed to hand in anything over 3 minutes, and that's to keep it down. You got to shoot this thing in a week, right?
Right.
She wanted hers to be 15 minutes. So we sat her down. We're that's not reasonable. You can shoot the rest of this on your own time or something like that. But the rest of us have a full course load,
Yeah.
So
that's a lot, man. And I didn't think Roy kept asking us last night. Excuse me. How many minutes we were at, and we got at least 20 minutes, I think, of footage.
20 minutes of footage, but it was just those kinds of shots. So we had 2 cameras going. Because my group member Justin was also in the back seat.
Shout out to Justin.
Shout out to Justin.
Yeah.
But we do get a grade for it, even though we were helping him out. It was the assignment was to do something for your network. So yeah, but I think it went well. Got some good content. So
yeah, and it was pretty fun too, man. It was weirdly not gratifying, but it was really kind of satisfactory. Just after every shot, it was pretty fun. It was a cool little experience. And we ended up, it was pretty crazy, guys. We ended up all the way north to Rebel. It was we were out in the barren landscapes, you could say, of the outskirts of Toronto. We went pretty far, man.
There's just a second, our stream cut out.
Oh, damn it.
God damn Ryerson, man.
Shoot. That's all right.
Thankfully, we're recording, so.
Yeah, sorry I keep going for the water, guys. I'm really thirsty this morning. Aidan and I have been running on fumes, guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you're easing up for after kind of today, right?
I think today is kind of my last big day, and then I don't know, at least 3 or 4 days of just
Recuperating.
Recuperating. Like, I still have to do work, obviously, but it's not
Yeah.
like deadline, you know?
Yeah, it's progressive stuff.
Do you have anything you want to touch on in the intro here?
Yeah, well, I think we were talking yesterday just about like the status of the coronavirus. I haven't really looked up a lot of things recently for it, but I just found it's kind of interesting. Like, another thing that's happened with a big, piece of media and information that we've, kind of come across in the last few months is just the forest fires in Australia too.
Yeah.
And I find like there is a huge, huge decline of information and media being like covered by that or covering that, and just in the last like recent month and a half. But I looked it up the other day, and there's still like there was some rain and some damper weather in Australia that kind of assisted in putting out some of the fires, but it's still a pretty bad situation.
Yeah.
But I just remember like in the initial kind of the crap of it, like it was just huge. Everybody, like so many communities were just banding together to try and financially support, do anything they could to contribute to fixing this situation.
I just feel like there's been such an onslaught of terrible news that it's hard to keep up with, right?
Yeah, everyone like it's like
there's even like nobody's even talking about the fire in the Amazon anymore.
I know, and that's the thing. Like, are we just jumping from thing to thing for a certain amount of time just because it's new? But it's not really new in a lot of ways. Like the forest fires in Australia were going on a long time, I think, before it really reached, Canada and the western side of the states and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because they were going on like months and months before we really started to, like go like, oh crap, like this is a real thing. But yeah, coronavirus. I heard there was a lot of outbreak cases in Italy, and on the news the other day, I heard that. I'm not going to specify the country, but it was a country within the Middle East that the Canadian and U.S. government believe has falsified very, very important information regarding the outbreak rate within that certain country that I can't remember the name of. My apologies. And the U.S. and Canada are really upset and worried about that, and wondering if a lot of other countries, because they may have a lack of ability to contain such a thing, are kind of keeping their results.
I don't know. I heard something too that. I don't want to spread misinformation or whatever. I don't have.
I heard this on CTV. So,
like, I don't remember where I heard this, but I'm pretty sure it was CNN, CBC. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm good at not clicking on fake news websites, right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't have the source at the moment. But something along the lines of the reported deaths and infected cases in China follow a parabola way too well. Like,
explain.
China has mapped out a parabola, and they're like, this is what would be acceptable for like a pandemic or whatever that we have under control, and is just reporting those numbers and lying.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That's ridiculous. Sorry, hold on. Oh, that was a crazy voice crack that I just had. That's insane. That's ridiculous.
Which, I mean, I wouldn't put it past China.
Yeah. New York Times.
Rao.
How have you talked to her? How's she doing? Doing good?
She's doing good.
Shout out Rami.
Yeah, so she was affected firsthand by this a little bit. She's in Singapore right now on exchange, and she went to China for Chinese New Year. And when she returned to Singapore, they locked her in. I'm laughing, but they locked her in a dorm for quarantine.
Oh my god!
And me and my friend Kimia were telling her like, "Hey, that's stupid. Don't go to China for Chinese New Year right now."
Yeah. Oh, she was just going for the New Year.
Yeah, she was just going for Chinese New Year. And when she came back, they locked her in a dorm for 2 weeks. And I was kind of like, like what?
Because
do you think
you
was
have
gonna
to
happen?
lay if you're coming back from any possible like infectious country, that you have to lay dormant, or I don't know, stay within your house if you have any thought or possibility.
Yeah, something like that. Man, our stream keeps cutting out. We're gonna have to re-upload this one later.
No worries. Okay, I have a cool little fact here. Just on New York Times posted this 7 hours ago. Just a quick little update. So the pathogen, has now invaded 47 countries, with California and Germany recording the first cases with no obvious source of transmission. This is a live update from 6 minutes ago from New York Times, the New York Times. Right now, U.S. stocks had a depressing opening, losing about 2%, and unequal general losses in European and Asian markets. I assume that has to do with relations to the coronavirus. But that's pretty crazy that California and Germany are recording the first cases with no obvious source of transmission.
Well, the
But what does
obvious
that
source
mean,
is
though? I
people
know.
moving, you know?
Yeah, but like,
'Cause it's the thing
how
too,
is there
isn't
no
the
obvious source?
incubation period like 2 weeks, you know? Like you could be infected with it, travel somewhere, and then, you know, develop it, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I also heard too that like Canada and the U.S. are really obviously, like so many other countries are probably doing, working on like a vaccination for it. But they say it could take anywhere from another 6 to 8 months to possibly develop like an actual, like legitimate vaccine, but then 2 years for it to go full to market. Like for that, I don't know really how to explain it, but for the financial support for it, 2 years is what they were saying, which that's not good, man. A lot can happen in 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think just given the urgency of this whole thing, they'll make it happen. What do you think was, just out of curiosity, in terms of like media coverage for it and the impact in terms of like our societies and people that we talk to being impacted just by the information of it, not the actual thing? The difference between like the coronavirus and then the swine flu. Remember when that
Yeah,
broke
I remember
out?
the
Like,
swine flu thing.
yeah, like what do you think was just crazier, I guess you could say?
I don't know, because I don't think we have I think we have more misinformation these days,
Yeah,
you know?
there's so many crossovers
And I think
and
the swine flu, like it developed in South America, Mexico, I don't remember, right? Like somewhere
Right.
around there.
yeah,
I don't know, I just think they're more honest about reporting, you know, death toll, infection numbers, you know, like
better comparison that I meant to say originally was the Ebola virus versus Corona.
yeah.
What do you
I
think
don't
was
know,
bigger
man.
of an epidemic?
I think
I feel like this probably, just because, like you said, the lack of information
other thing-
or overabundance of it.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that in China, most of the deaths, like the youngest person was 38 and had an immunodeficiency of some sort.
Right.
And everyone else was like very old, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the flu kills more people in a year,
Yeah.
you know? So Ebola is something to be more scared of probably because it's deadlier, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's harder to spread in that it's bodily fluids only, but like the mortality rate is just insane, where I think Corona is like 2% or something like that.
Right.
Like
The standard flu is more than that,
yeah,
which is interesting.
or 0.2%.
Yeah.
Anyways, I don't know. Let's move on to
Yeah,
our
let's
next
move on.
thing.
It's just, it's a crazy topic. We just wanted to, put it out
Yeah.
there for a bit. So Aidan and I have a segment coming up right now, and it's on Star Wars.
I would like to interject.
Okay.
So I have brought a show and tell.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Goes into my spiel.
Okay.
Did you bring show and tell?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to do yours first, because mine directly plays into
And
that?
then sure.
All right.
Okay, give me 1 sec. It's right here.
Hi, Mom.
All right, it's so hot in here, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So just quick little context and backstory. I have a fantastic grandma known as Nana to myself. Nana is my mom's mom. Really, really awesome lady. Super cool. Super in tune with spirituality. Just she's awesome. So intelligent. She was an inventor in her younger years. Like, I don't know if you know, Aiden. Do you remember for VHS tapes? I think that's what they're called. VHS. Sorry, VHS tapes. There was an invention made for a guard for the actual like import for it, because kids were sticking their hands in there and getting electrocuted and getting stuck. So my grandma was the one that invented that actual like guard for it, which is pretty cool. There's a paper on it. There's a whole thing on it.
One of the best early YouTube claymations is a video called "Stuck in the VCR."
Really?
Yeah. It's about a clay person that gets stuck in the VCR.
I,
Anyways, continue.
yeah, I never got my hands stuck in the VCR. For me, it was always the napkin holders at Tim Hortons because I thought they were cookie jars. Yeah.
Ah.
So yeah, I was a fiend for food. Anyway, so yeah, Nana used to always take me to Saint Laurent Mall, which for you guys probably don't know, most of you, if you're listening and you are from Toronto or anywhere outside of Ottawa, Saint Laurent is kind of like the central mall, I'd say, for us. Aside from Nordstrom and downtown and whatever.
Rideau, Bayshore.
Rideau, yeah.
Saint Laurent's a little bit of a trashy mall.
It is pretty trashy. Saint Laurent and Place Orleans are both pretty trash. But anyway, so there used to be this place. It's not there anymore. It was called Abington Animals, and it was a very like. It was pretty much like just like a knickknack store, fueled with like indigenous artifacts and wicked cool like prehistoric. And I remember one time my grandma bought me a dagger that was not sharpened at all. It was completely dull, and it had gems on it. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I was so excited. Brought it home, and my parents flipped out because my grandma, she's older school a little bit. She doesn't see a problem with that. I didn't either. Like I was a pretty responsible kid, but that's my own interpretation. Anyways, she brought me there one time, and still do have a like great love for turtles and sea turtles all alike. And so she bought me this gorgeous turtle. It is gold, like not plated, but gold painted, I guess you could say, around a beautiful here. Hold it up to the camera there.
I'm gonna zoom in on it.
But yeah, how's that? Good. Yeah, he's really, really cool. And I just have a lot of little things and a whole little kind of area of like little cool things, knickknacks like this that are from that store and also from, other places that kind of remain, like keep the same theme. But yeah, it's a really important piece to me. It's super old. I've had it for as long as I can remember, man. I think I was like 5 or something when I got this. Yeah, brings great energy, and I just love looking at it every day. It's beautiful. So yeah, cheers to Grandma and to Nana. She's a beautiful woman, fantastic. I love her. And she got me a great, great gift that I've kept for so many years. And it's fantastic. I love it. So yeah, show and tell. I haven't named him though. Like I just looked at him kind of, and he always kind of got like a little down. He's kind of looks a little sad.
I don't know why he's giving me a little bit of like a
side eye, right?
No, I'd say almost an elephant vibe. He's like an elephant and a turtle at the same time.
Yeah, his head's pretty like,
and his legs, I think.
Oh, that's
what's giving it.
And those little treads kind of look like elephant skin almost.
Like I'd name him Dumbo, but he's a turtle.
Right. I kind of want to name him Larry. I don't know why.
That's a good name for a turtle.
Larry? Yeah. All right, Larry the turtle. There you go. I dropped him when I picked him up this morning, like first time. I rarely touch the stuff.
Yeah.
And I chipped it a little bit, so I'm honestly really upset about that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was so sad, man.
Is it the blue part that's chipped?
No, it's the gold part right there.
Oh, yeah, that's sad.
Yeah, it's all right.
I feel like the blue part you might be able to fill in with some Bondo, like some car rust fixer.
Right. Anyways, sorry for the long story there. Your turn.
All right. So this is what I brought. All right.
Legendary.
This is Lego Star Wars 2. Now this is the Xbox 360 copy. Me and my brothers saved up change or something. We had the big change pot when I was 7 or 8, and we took it to the Real Canadian Superstore, and we put it through the what are those things called? Coinstar.
Oh yeah,
where
yeah.
It counts all your change or whatever. And
those
then we
awesome.
took it to the electronics department. We bought a PlayStation 2, a memory card, an extra controller, and Lego Star Wars 2. And that was our first game system. Like we had computer games and stuff before then, but that was our first console.
Yeah.
So this game holds a lot of nostalgia for me. It's like the first game I ever really played. It's the first game I ever really finished.
Yeah.
And it was right at the peak of when I was super into Star Wars and super into Lego. And Lego and Star Wars go together like peanut butter and ladies.
Yep.
Like Talladega Nights, but peanut butter and jelly.
Oh man,
peanut butter and
so many good
chocolate.
references
Peanut
from that
butter
movie.
goes with so many things. But
yeah.
Lego and Star Wars are like a match made in heaven. Okay, perfect combination of stuff. So that game was so much fun, such a big part of my childhood. Every Star Wars sound effect, song, bit of iconography or whatever is ingrained into my soul.
Even the candidness of it for the actual movies and the original trilogy, it's the storyline's freaking accurate.
Yeah. And I just wanted to tangent before we get into our main thing for today.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I had this like I bought Lego sets that were Star Wars around that age too, right? And I had the Imperial Lander or whatever, the Imperial Shuttle.
Yeah.
So it's the one that's like the wings fold
Yeah,
up on
and
it,
it's got the.
And that was like my prized possession. You know, I built that and I put it up on the shelf. Like no one was ever gonna touch it.
That's
you know?
wicked.
But while I was at school, my little brother had this weird little friend over. I don't want to stereotype or anything, but he was a homeschooled kid. And he took it off the shelf and was like, "Oh, does it fly?" He threw it off the top of our bunk bed, and it was just like I couldn't get it back together after then. I didn't have the instructions anymore. The parts went down, like the grate
You
and
just
stuff.
threw it off.
Threw it off the bunk bed.
What
like,
was your
will it fly?
freaking reaction
I
on
was
your face?
Pissed, man. Like, yeah, I didn't have it for very long. I only had it for like a month or two at that point. But
It's falling down. I picture like in your mind, you're just like dun dun.
Oh, I was at school at home. I just came.
Oh, you didn't see it.
Yeah.
Picture your bunch
I just
like
came home and looked in my bedroom, and there's like a pile of Legos in the corner, and I'm like,
oh man, I'm so sorry, dude. And you know what's interesting that you mentioned that is, did you see? There's a video that's been circulating and blowing up the internet over the last. It's kind of died down over the last few days, but the Lego guy that got all of his Lego stolen. He's a big YouTube Lego builder.
no, I didn't hear about that.
Oh, dude, I gotta show you that. He had a huge Lego set. It was his second job doing this YouTube kind of Lego building stuff.
Right, yeah.
And he had been doing it for like, I think he said at least like 12 years of work or something like that, or maybe 8 years. I can't really remember. But the thing that was left was what was the name of the one that you made, your prized possession?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it. I think it was Imperial Shuttle.
Yeah, the last one that he had that was
Yeah.
not touched was in the corner, and it was the Imperial Shuttle. So that's just interesting contrast. But I was so sad for that guy. He filmed himself saying bye and was crying, but the internet banded together, and I'm pretty sure they purchased back like as much as they could. But there was some stuff that was just
Discontinued or too expensive on eBay.
Yeah.
But that is a segue into our main segment, which is a pop culture, I don't know, starting it pretty late. So we want to talk about Star Wars and then Avengers for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I think because of all this baggage that I have tied to Star Wars, you know, like it being the first like real adult movie that I see, you know, like we gotta go see Shrek or whatever, and my dad's like, "Oh, you're old enough to watch Star Wars. We watch Star Wars," you know, like when I was like 5 on VHS, you know, that
That's
type of
wicked.
thing. Yeah, it was definitely before Nolan was born. Like,
You saw that before Nolan was born?
I think so, yeah.
That's something you could like give him a little like, you know, make fun of him for a little bit. Yeah, a little teaser.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But when I went and I saw the new one that came out this year, last December or whatever, I sat through it, and there were all the lights and the sounds and
Were
the
you
music.
40X? Did you see it in 40X?
No, I didn't. I just saw it in IMAX,
okay.
I think. And, you know, you see the droids that you recognize, and they got the same voices, and you see Carrie Fisher deep-faked onto some poor nameless actress. And I'm like, wow, Star Wars, you know? And I come out of the theater, I'm like, that was amazing. And then slowly I start to think about it, and the plot holes start to... Because, like, I feel like when I saw it, I was like transported back to when I was
Because you're
like,
so excited for a new Star Wars movie. You're just like,
and
you're
everyone's
thrown
like really
into
like,
it.
really, you liked it? And I'm like, yeah, like it was Star Wars, you know, like what do you want from Star Wars? Is the lasers and
Yeah,
but then the more
lasers,
you know,
lasers.
like you see R2D2 and he's beeping, and you see an X-wing take off, and it's just, you know what I mean? Like it's just like it's like you're 6 years old again, you know?
Yeah.
But then I like sat and I thought about it, and I'm like, there was that corny line that made me cringe in the theater too, where the stormtroopers can fly, and they're like, they fly now? They fly now. You know, like,
Yeah,
it's just cringy stuff. And then when they teased us in the trailer a bunch, but when C-3PO turns around, he's like saying goodbye to my friends.
With the red eyes and everything, when he gets uploaded. No, that's a later movie, I think, right? Saying goodbye to my friends, because every time his memory's wiped. But it was the most recent movie, I think, where his eyes went crazy red, and
I don't remember his eyes. Oh yeah, when he was
in the shuttle.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, but like when he's like, they showed it in the trailer. He's like saying goodbye to my friends, like they're teasing that he's gonna die or whatever, and then everyone just is like, okay, like no one cares.
Yeah,
and it's just like, you know,
it's sad, man. I feel like they just didn't really know how to really grab the attention and, you know, kind of minds.
It didn't feel coherent, you know.
Yeah,
and then they added stuff to the canon, which I don't know. Like, I'm not one of those fans that
I
like
am.
obsesses about it, but it just like it makes episode 1 where Darth Maul gets cut in half, or Qui-Gon Jinn gets cut in half, and or Obi-Wan getting stabbed in episode 4, or like anytime someone died, it's like, well, why didn't they just force heal them,
Right.
And then even in episode 3, when Anakin's learning about the dark side and he can save Padme or whatever,
Save lives.
like, well, what's Rey doing? Is that the dark side stuff,
Well, she is a Palpatine, so that could be understood, but then you have to understand, oh, okay. So the whole reason that Rey, from what I've heard, is able to have that healing ability, and like just for the force healing aspect of it, Baby Yoda and Yoda's species as a whole, they're the most force sensitive beings within the Star Wars universe. That means that they are able to access both parts of the light and dark side of the force, but they're not acting on one or the other. They're just pure energy almost. So that in that sense, Yoda is able to utilize that ability, but it makes no sense that Rey is. Yeah, she's a powerful Jedi, you could say, with a Palpatine name and a dark side aspect to her, and she's a light Jedi, as per her training. But she's not. She shouldn't have that ability. Let alone, do you remember that scene where Chewie gets kidnapped and she goes on like a little? She kind of has a little tantrum and then electrocutes the ship and blows it up. Palpatine studied for decades. There's comics and all the Star Wars Clone Wars cartoons and stuff. I've watched all the videos and everything. Palpatine studied that technique and that ability for so long, man. It's not a genetic thing. That is so hard to do within the Star Wars universe. Like, it's not canon with how she did it. It's ridiculous, and it frustrated me a lot. My brother and I, when she did that, we literally looked at each other and we were like, just shaking our heads in disappointment, man. Yeah. The one cool scene, though, with the electricity aspect was when Palpatine electrocuted the fleet. That was pretty cool, I will say. That was in the last one. It was kind of neat. But it's just
kind of like I know there was a little bit of turmoil about the directors for this new trilogy, right? Yeah. So the first one was done by J.J. Abrams, who's got a long career of doing amazing sci-fi work. Like, I'm pretty sure he did the Star Treks and stuff like that. And then the second movie was done by Rian Johnson, and the third one, I'm pretty sure, was done by J.J. Abrams again, right? So J.J. Abrams had laid out an arc for the trilogy, right? Because a trilogy is not really a trilogy unless you have a proper plot.
Right.
Like, otherwise it's just 3 random movies. Like, what's the point? So the second movie in this trilogy completely deviated, and I think that's what cheapened the third movie, because they almost needed to tease Palpatine coming back or something. You can't just randomly have him like pop back. He's back from the dead,
And two, you have like on the light side, you have the Force ghosts, right? Which is like the only kind of aspect of them coming back to the world or being able to communicate like from death. But it's just kind of one thing that I find annoying too. They really glorify the dark side in terms of like its power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the light side is extremely powerful. Like, if you look at Mace Windu, he's like...
I almost want to say that I'm supposed to be the Star Wars fan, and you know way more about this than I do.
No.
This is ridiculous, man. You're just coming at me with the facts.
I'm sorry.
No,
it's honestly, this is kudos to my brother Ethan, because he's like really into all the lore of it. But yeah, I'm just trying to look this up. A rumor that I heard, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but this is just what I heard. It might have just been just from a friggin' crowd of really angry people. But I heard that the directors or director of the last season of Game of Thrones, i.e. like the crap season, the reason it was so bad was because they kind of cut their efforts in half, because they got either the second, or I think it was the second Star Wars deal for the second movie within the new trilogy. That's a rumor that I heard. So the reason for all the laziness, like the Starbucks waters and all the friggin' water bottles in the scenes and all that, ridiculous, like amateur mistakes, was partly due to the fact that the directors were just kind of slacking off because they got Star Wars. That's what I heard. I was just trying to look it up to see if I could confirm. I cannot right now.
I don't believe that Starbucks thing was an accident.
Really? You think it was
I think it was
embedded
product placement.
Really?
Man.
Wow.
I think it was some sort of viral marketing thing, because the number of people that would have had to look at that frame before it went to air, right? Like, you've got on set, you've got the first camera operator, second camera operator, third camera operator, right? Like the focus puller, like the camera op, you got the colorist probably on set looking at it through his LUT and adjusting. You got the director looking at it, and then into the editing, you've got the assistant editor that sorts through the footage. You got the DIT, which ingests the footage. You've got the colorist looking at the color. You got the actual editor. You know, you've got the sound guys that have to do a picture lock and make sure that the mixing that they're doing syncs up to the picture. Like there were just too many hands on that frame for it not to be noticed.
That's a really good point,
and when there's a
dude.
minor continuity error, like the one continuity error that always comes to mind to me, because my dad pointed it out when I was young, was in the movie, not Step Brothers, Twins or something with
Danny DeVito and Arnold.
Yeah,
yeah,
Danny DeVito.
Wicked movie though.
There's a scene where they're in the bathroom and there's a beer can on top of the
hand dryer.
Yeah, and then they cut back and it's not there. Like that's minor. You know, like
Yeah.
there's a beer can. Like most people aren't gonna notice. It doesn't break your, you know. But this was like, it was such a big mistake because it breaks the canon so much. That there's a start, you know. If it was like there was
such a
if
historical
it was like there's a
show.
candle in the background and then there's the candles out in the next shot,
Yeah.
or someone was smoking something. I don't know if people smoke. I didn't watch Game of Thrones, but
Oh, you didn't?
no, I'm not really into the whole fantasy thing, man. Like.
I think you would love it.
Yeah,
I think so. It's
'Cause-
pretty heavy though, dude.
controversial opinion. I did not enjoy Lord of the Rings.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I'm finding this out about my friend for the first time right now. You didn't like Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Any of them?
Like, I enjoyed them, but like my thing is they're always like using their made up words and stuff, and I'm just like I can't follow it. You know?
It's literally like a
they're-
whole language. You
they're-
got to read all the books.
Yeah, and it's just like they're throwing so much at you and like so much lore, and it's just like it's overwhelming, you know.
That's actually
And then
a
they're
good point.
also so long, and they'll be throwing this name at you all the time, and then when that character shows up, you're like, you've heard this name a million times, so then you're more confused.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The same thing with The Witcher. They were talking about all these things that they hadn't shown me yet, and I'm like, whoa, you know?
Yeah. That's actually that's a good way of explaining it.
Like
if there's like one thing that I don't like about it, it's that for sure.
Like, I understand that people want depth to their content, you know, that they want lore, all that sort of stuff. It's just, if it's like, for me, if it's not immediately digestible, I lose interest, you know?
Right. Because that's like one of the most important things of movie/TV making, or even just any video making in general. The first first 30 seconds, I'd even say 15 seconds is the most important.
But like I watched the whole of The Lord of the Rings, you know?
Yeah. But when did you like, at what point within either movie did you like say, okay, I don't really like this, but I got to do it because it's Lord of the Rings?
I feel like there were multiple times where I was just going, you know? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And did you see the director cuts or like the
I think I saw the
theatrical?
director's cuts,
Okay, so
'cause-
you saw like 2.5, 320, and then freaking like 350.
Yeah, and
That's
it's just
crazy.
like, holy crap. Like, there's just too much.
Did
too
you
much
know
going on.
3 years of filming, 1 year each movie in New Zealand? 3 years they filmed all 3 movies.
Really?
Yeah, in New Zealand, within 3 years. Bam,
I feel
bam,
like
bam.
that's a Back to the Future 2 situation, because Back to the Future 2 was 2 and 3 were supposed to be one movie, and they just shot way too much.
He looks so old in the second one too, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you know how they kind of carry the scene over from the last scene of the first one?
I've watched them cut like side by side, they're actually refilmed. So the same scene, but they're reshot because the girlfriend
Is
different. It's a different
different.
actress.
Right.
So like they're super close, and it's just like kind of uncanny because like the way the banana falls into the Mr. Reactor is like slightly different,
Yeah.
and like the timing of the DeLorean pulling into the driveway is just slightly different. Like,
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
weird. They do you think they should have just left that last scene in the first movie and just kind of carried over to?
no, I think it's good recap, you know, and especially since it takes place like immediately after the.
Yeah.
But back to what were we talking about before?
Sorry.
Oh, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
So I guess my point was like I felt like they were trying to make it one movie, you know, maybe.
Yeah.
And then they were just like, I don't know. Can we have a 12-hour movie, guys? Is that
Yeah,
cool? Can we
can
have a
it be a
12-hour
play?
movie? Yeah.
You know the scene where they in the first movie when the hobbits, Frodo, Pip, Sam, and the other little one. I can't remember. I wish I could.
Actually, I got a really goofy video to pull up. You talk for a
okay,
second.
yeah. The first day of shooting, I watched a whole documentary on like the behind the scenes of Lord of the Rings, just because I found it was fascinating. They were able to do that in like just 3 years. It's insane. The first day of shooting, there's a scene, if you guys can remember, of the first movie where they all fall down the really steep, kind of marshed hill from the Knight Rider. That was their first day of filming. So literally, the director got on set and went to the actors. He's like, "Hey, okay, guys, you see that hill right there? I just want you to jump and do somersaults for as long as you can. Just go." And all the actors had to like physically bump into each other. They've never like met before, right? It's like the first time, so they all just have to end up kind of hurling with each other down a hill for their first day of shooting. And the director's like, "Yeah, it was a good way to get them, pretty acclimated to each other and just to, break the ice." So I thought that was pretty funny. It's a cool little
Here, I got
something
to show you here. All right,
All right,
you
let's
ready?
see. Yeah, I'm
Can
excited.
you see the monitor there?
Yep.
So unfortunately, we're not going to have sound, but that's okay because we're going to get flagged anyway. So this is an Air New Zealand safety promo video.
Is that Gollum? Yeah.
So they're...
Oh my god!
I feel like
no way.
I feel like that's his everyday life,
Yeah.
man. Because that's the only thing people know him from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's like Daniel Radcliffe in Harry Potter. You know?
He even looks like Daniel Radcliffe.
He
man.
does. They could be brothers. Oh my god, that'd be so sick.
But
They have the Shire's real. It's a real space in New
Really?
Zealand. Yeah, you can go visit. It's touristy.
But they
It's
have
an attraction.
they have like the dwarf guy, but they don't have the dwarf guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they have just like a stand-in, like someone else to do it, and it just looks so wrong. JonTron, if anybody knows JonTron, did an awesome video where he covered this exact video, but it's just such a bizarre concept. Man.
Is this like an Air New Zealand type of thing?
Yeah, it's an Air New Zealand safety video. This is what plays in the back of your headrest.
Oh, this isn't like an ad. This is the actual
This
safety.
is the actual
oh my
safety
god!
video for Air New Zealand.
The freaking the mask. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a huge piece of like. I keep voice cracking, man. It's a huge
Just
piece
look
of.
at her putting on the air mask. Like that's just so bizarre to see a
Oh
like
my
that
God.
orc or whatever
Yeah.
with the air mask on.
That was the scariest scene for me when I first watched it when I was young. Seeing the orcs get like pretty much like grown and birthed from mud was
Yeah.
so disturbing to me.
There's one clip. Look,
oh
look,
my
look.
god, dude!
I was almost called him Dumbledore. What's his name?
Gandalf.
Gandalf.
Who would win? Okay, this is actually, if anybody would ever comment on our videos, if they're like, maybe I could open it up with this kind of battle. Who would win in a fight to the death, Gandalf or Dumbledore? And I want your opinion. Have you seen all the Harry Potters, right?
All the Harrys.
All the Harrys. Harry Potter. Who do you think would win?
This is hard to say.
hysterical, dude.
I just want you to see one clip in this because it's hilarious. They've got Hobbit guy there looking like a hobbit. Here, I'm gonna jump ahead. You talk.
Yeah, sure. My brother and I, it's so funny. We always have these discussions like who would win in a fight to the death between, Dumbledore and he's
Look
so
at him.
small.
Oh,
Why?
That poor guy, man.
Oh my god.
Why'd they do that to him,
He's so regular. If he was dressed up like a hobbit, I could see like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool. But he's just a regular guy right now.
But they had him normal size in the beginning of the video,
Yeah. Oh my god, that's funny. Is that?
I just want to say that our stream has cut out for like the 9th time.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
definitely
crazy.
gonna have to re-upload it later. That's
Yeah,
annoying.
That's all right. That's freaking hilarious, man. Do you know if they still use that? Are you?
I don't know.
That's wicked. That's brilliant. I love it. That's so funny. Yeah, I was saying like my brother and I always have these weird little discussions for like who would win and what with superheroes and all this stuff because we end up getting into like pretty lengthy debates about it. It's a big passion for us. We love movies, man. My brother and I are huge Marvel fans, huge Star Wars fans. We love Lord of the Rings. We love it all, man. It's wicked. My brother plays League of Legends a lot and Minecraft. Him and his buddies used to play Minecraft a lot. Then it kind of transitioned to League of Legends for like grade 9 to like 10 or 11, I'd say, for them. And now they're all kind of jamming back with Minecraft, man. Minecraft's still kicking it pretty well. I've never played it. That or I played like
it's
League.
a good game, man.
I played League of Legends like once and I got destroyed, dude.
It
It's
was
so
such a
hard.
big thing when we were in high school.
League?
League, yeah.
Yeah.
At least, especially on the
LOL.
IB side. Like, I was like the only kid that didn't play League, and I was like the weird one.
For not
You know,
playing
like
it.
the odd one out.
Yeah.
And I tried to get into it multiple times, but it's such a hard game to pick up.
It's just like it's like a sport almost. There's so many like there's like top, mid, bottom, and then jungle.
Well, yeah,
like there's like so many like
it's an
roles.
esport. Like people
yeah,
watch
it is. Yeah.
professional players
Yeah.
and stuff. It amazes me.
Yeah. One thing that I actually like, it's like kind of like a guilty. I don't know. Maybe it's a guilty pleasure, but I really like watching professional Mortal Kombat fights.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun, dude, because Mortal Kombat's a game that almost anyone can play because the diversification of moves that you can do is ridiculous. They have like 8,000 moves for a character, like combinations that you can do. And so when you watch people that are experts in it and know every single one by heart and can do the actual stuff, it's like watching a movie. It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
And it gets intense, man, too. Yeah, like world champions and stuff, just for fun sometimes. It's a fun little thing to do. Yeah, man. So like with the whole Star Wars thing, where do you think they go from here? Like if they wanted to tie the main storyline kind of into the Mandalorian, does that mean that they're going to transition Mandalorian into the movies, or are they going to start kind of splitting up the storylines of the actual saga
I don't
or Star Wars
I don't know
storyline?
what
Like,
they hope to do because doesn't Mandalorian take place between episode 3 and 4?
yeah, it takes place after just after the fall of the Empire.
So like where was Baby Yoda in anything else?
I
You
don't
know?
Yeah. Like, or why wasn't he like a part of any conversation or
Like
any?
why was he not through in episodes 4 through 9?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And the thing is too, like the director, it's wanted to do a Star Wars TV show for a long time with an aspect of Baby Yoda in it, just because the only other species of Yoda that we have seen in the entire 6-movie, like entire thing, was in the second film, I believe, when Anakin is being evaluated by Yoda and the rest of the High Council of Jedi, and I can't remember her name, but it's another female Yoda species in that room, and it's like a half-second shot of her, and that's the only. She's very famous in the comics, and she has a white lightsaber, which is really, really sick. I won't get into all the lightsaber definitions and stuff, but yeah. So I think like Baby Yoda's gonna be cool.
I
But
just
I don't
want to
know,
say that
man.
I've seen lots of awesome memes and I don't have the ability to pull them up right now. But where the last scene in the new movie
Yeah.
where Ray's like when someone's like, "Oh, what's your name?" She's like, "Ray." Ray Skywalker. But it's like she's like Ray, and then she like it shows her like looking up at the sky, sky, and then she sees like a guy off in the distance walking, Walker, like
Just like it's like that scene from Dictator where he's in the thing. He's like, "Are you Aladdin Al-Aziz or whatever?" He's
Yeah.
like, "No, I am employees. Employees what? Employees must wash hands."
yeah,
You know?
that's exactly
Max imum occupancy 120. That's your name, 120. It's freaking hilarious.
There's another one I saw too, exact same idea where it's like, my name's Ray, Ray, and then she sees orange juice, pulp, and then she sees a teenager, a teen.
Oh my God, Palpatine. I love it. Oh man, the actor's pretty legendary though. I don't know his name, but like the guy that played Palpatine, it's pretty cool that
They
he's
keep bringing
been.
actors back from the dead for Star Wars, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is a little
You know?
uneasy
Because I'd rather they just recast them. You know,
half the time
like-
you can't tell if it's a deep fake or not. You don't know who's dead or
Yeah,
alive.
because
No offense.
in episode 7, there was that guy who was an Imperial, or maybe Rogue One. He was some sort of Imperial whatever, and he was in episode 4.
Yeah,
And they brought him back from the dead. I didn't realize that until someone told me that guy died.
yeah. What I find is cool that the Mandalorian did is the guy in Breaking Bad that owns the chicken.
Los Pollos Locos.
Le Pollo Semanos.
Gus.
Gustavo. Yeah.
Gustavo Fring.
He is one of the coolest badass actors I've ever seen in my life, too.
That
just
guy
for that
and
role.
the German dude from Inglourious Basterds.
Yeah. Oh, what's his name, man? I can't remember.
I don't remember right now
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, they're both fantastic. But the guy from Breaking Bad is, I don't know if you saw the last. Oh, you didn't see the last episode of The Mandalorian. I can't.
I didn't know. You can't spoil it for me. I'll go home and watch that.
Okay.
After.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna go home and take a nap because
Yeah.
I went to bed at like
Yeah.
3 a.m.
Guys, watch The Mandalorian. That's all I'm saying. I like it.
We got 4 minutes left. This has
Yeah.
been a little bit of an off-the-cuff episode because
No,
we're
that's
both
good.
very burnt out, but I think
Yeah.
it went pretty well.
Yeah, it did. It did. Oh, on that front, actually, I guess I could say, just because we're talking about trilogies and sagas and, just whole bodies of wicked work, Spider-Man is a good,
They
like,
haven't rebooted it, and like Hollywood must be out of business. They haven't
Yeah.
rebooted it in a year.
Yeah. But no, I like it because we're kind of making a comparison between a crappy trilogy after a fantastic one being made. But I find the new Spider-Man and Tom Holland is fantastic, and has been built really, really well off of the original three with Tobey Maguire, and even the two Amazing Spider-Men with Andrew Garfield. Yeah, like the Amazing Spider-Mans were really with Andrew Garfield were really just like Sony flexing on their like camera and editing ability. Like they just really went hard in the paint with just wicked graphics and cool stuff that the eye likes. But I found like Tobey Maguire's original three are legendary.
Oh yeah.
But I think Tom Holland and the new Spider-Man like follows it pretty well. A cool, interesting thing that I wanted to talk about. There was a roundtable discussion with the heads of Disney, some people from Marvel, and some people from Sony. From my understanding of it, Sony and Disney own equal rights to the character of Spider-Man. But if I'm not mistaken, Sony owns 100% of the production rights to the character, but Disney gets a huge chunk of that revenue. What they've done at this roundtable discussion is they've confirmed that a Spider-Man 3 will be in the works, 100%, like positive. I believe they said July 2021, something like that. And a Spider-Man 4 might also be in the works because after that third movie, the deal between Sony and Disney may dissolve a little bit for the better part, with that character kind of transitioning entirely to Disney / Marvel, which would give us a fourth movie, with Deadpool and Venom, ideally, which would be so sick. Because you like Deadpool a lot too, right? Yeah. Did you like the second movie, by the way?
It was a little bit over the top with the fourth wall breaks. Like
Yeah.
at some points, I was like, it was annoying. Like it was reminding me that I was watching a movie way too much and like trying to be tongue in cheek about it. But
Yeah.
Overall, it was good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that'd be really cool, man. I'm excited for the Marvel universe, and honestly, I am excited too. Like I'm a Marvel guy over DC. Like I can't deny that if you put all the DC universe against the Marvel universe, DC would probably win just because they're a little more godlike in some aspects, aside from Thor and Odin and whatnot. But yeah, I'm really excited for Robert Pattinson and the new Batman. I think that's going to be kind of cool. A lot of people were trashing the guy, but he's a fantastic actor. Have you seen The Lighthouse with him? And
that was a phenomenal movie.
I saw clips of it. I haven't seen the full thing.
Oh, I got that on Plex. You got to watch that.
Really?
I went and saw it in theaters. It was so good.
It's all in black and white, right?
Yeah.
Defoe is
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. He's brilliant, man. I love that guy.
Let's get to our closing remarks. It's our last minute.
Sure.
So I want to say thank you to all the people that watch us and like our videos. You know, it's mostly family and friends. So we really
have a lot of
appreciate
minutes
you guys
of listening.
a lot of time out of your day to sit through us rambling for an hour about Star Wars.
Yep.
Any shout outs, any closing remarks?
Oh, just shout out to the family, to the lady, to all the friends and good people on the earth.
Yeah.
We hope everybody,
parents, brothers,
brothers,
siblings,
sisters, mothers. I love it.
uncles, friends in faraway places, friends nearby,
friends above and below.
Yeah.
Everybody, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Sorry for the in and out live stream there. We'll fix that up and we'll post it up on YouTube for your enjoyment. Thanks so much, everybody. We really hope you enjoyed. Have a fantastic weekend and rest of the week, and have a good Friday, too. Stay safe, stay happy, and have fun. Peace. Oh, that was all right.